Today is Friday, July 3rd. Welcome to this edition of Nevada County Now. Today's episode, we're talking COVID and face coverings, 4th of July, and more. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to Nevada County Now. I'm your host, Cole Pettit. Start off tonight with an update on the COVID situation. Nevada County has continued to see an increase in COVID-19 cases this week. There are now a total of 123 confirmed cases, an increase of 22 cases from this time last week. Nevada County Public Health lists 39 of those cases as active. Last week at this time, there were 23 active cases, so we've seen an increase of 16 active cases. 77 of the 123 total cases are listed in the 96161 area code, with 14 in the 95945 area code. On their website, Tahoe Forest Health Systems lists 7 hospitalized patients who have either tested positive or are exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19. William Hodges, Director of Communications for Dignity Health Sacramento, says there are currently no hospitalized patients with COVID-19 at Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital. Nevada County Public Health lists 7,070 tests performed, an increase of 1,427 tests this week, a modest increase from the 1,357 tests performed the week prior. The 4th of July is tomorrow, and while celebrations won't be the same as in previous years, there are still some things to be looking forward to. Grass Valley and Nevada City have planned a small parade consisting of emergency response and public works vehicles. This parade will follow a route through both cities, allowing residents to enjoy the parade from their own home. The parade will start in Grass Valley at 10 and will be reaching Nevada City by around 11:50. Here at Nevada County Media, we organized a virtual parade that we pre-recorded, which features Grand Marshal Brian Evans, CEO of Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital, as well as several other participants, interspersed with video messages and highlights from previous parades. Our virtual parade will air at 11 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Comcast Channel 11. In addition to the parade, we also arranged a light show consisting of community-submitted videos with music, dancing, and lights. The light show will air at 6 p.m., also on Facebook, YouTube, and Comcast Channel 11. And if that wasn't enough entertainment, Grass Valley will be putting on a fireworks show. The display will be visible over Highway 49 and the Dorsey Overpass. The show is scheduled to start around 9:30 p.m. The city is requesting that you stay home or close to home and interact with household members only while watching the show. Nevada County also issued a statement asking residents to celebrate responsibly over the holiday weekend. It says in part, as residents prepare to celebrate the 4th of July weekend, Nevada County reminds residents to follow best practices for reducing the spread of COVID-19, including washing hands regularly, practicing physical distancing of at least 6 feet, staying home if you're feeling sick, wearing a face mask or face covering, which is required in public, disinfecting high-touch surfaces, and practicing good hygiene. The statement goes on to say that most of the new cases in Nevada County come directly from informal gatherings between different households that are still not allowed. The county urges residents to do their part to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by not gathering with people outside their household this holiday weekend and follow state and local public health guidance. In addition to their statement, the county also included a link to a new fact sheet about masks, which includes 7 sources showing some of the scientific evidence supporting the effectiveness of wearing masks. You can find this fact sheet by visiting mynevadacounty.com/coronavirus and clicking the link, Masks Make a Difference. The wearing of masks has continued to be a point of contention in our community. Following the governor's executive order, Nevada City Mayor Ronnette Senum garnered significant attention for her comments on Facebook about the order. This resulted in Nevada City Council holding a special meeting on Tuesday to discuss the council's position on the order. The meeting began with a brief presentation from Ryan Groover, the county's Director of Health and Human Services. Let's see what he had to say.
Thank you, Mayor Senum and members of the council. Thank you so much for having me here tonight to talk about a controversial but important issue of face coverings. So first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about why face coverings. As a novel virus, the science on COVID-19 has really been a work in progress, and there's been a lot of changing information about COVID-19. and cloth face coverings. The bottom line is that wearing a face covering makes a difference in helping to protect your community and those around you. We've learned that the main way that COVID-19 is transmitted is by person-to-person contact through droplets that we emit while coughing, sneezing, shouting, or even singing. Wearing a face covering can help reduce the likelihood that an affected person spreads the virus to others through those droplets. We've also learned throughout the course of this that you can spread COVID-19 even if you're pre-symptomatic or asymptomatic. And that's why it's important that even if you feel fine, wearing a face covering is a way that you can prevent spreading it to others without knowing that you even have it. So the county for some time had a recommendation in place that individuals wear face coverings, and many local jurisdictions and other states had instituted mandates around masking. And then on June 18th, the state of California issued guidance requiring the use of face coverings in a variety of settings. Those settings include indoor public spaces such as grocery stores, and receiving healthcare services, public transportation, both the drivers and the passengers, in work settings such as an office environment, and in outdoor public spaces where social distancing isn't possible. There are also exemptions to that requirement, such as children under age 2 and individuals with medical conditions that prevent them from safely wearing a face covering. People with those kinds of conditions are asked to wear a face shield with a drape on the bottom of it. It's important to note, I think, that if you have such a medical condition that prevents you from wearing a face covering, you may also be in a vulnerable category in terms of your risk of having serious complications associated with COVID. And so it's important for people to continue to shelter in place if they're in that kind of position. So just briefly on the question of is this a mandate or a guidance, the state has indicated that it is a mandate because of the executive order that the governor signed under his emergency powers, which requires people to heed the orders and guidance of the state and local public health officials. So the executive order mandates that people follow guidance, including the masking guidance. In terms of enforcement, a lot of the headlines that immediately hit the news when this mandate was announced were that law enforcement wouldn't enforce it, and as well as the debate as to whether this was an order or guidance. I should note that from the beginning of this pandemic, with all the guidance, law enforcement issuing citations has never been our enforcement approach. Rather, we started with education and outreach and relied on our amazing community to build a culture of mutual support and care. So we flattened the curve in May, not because law enforcement was out there cracking down, but because as a community, we made the shared commitment to shelter in place. Likewise, it's as a community that we're going to flatten the curve again so that we don't have to move backwards and close down again, as we've seen starting to occur in other communities. Wearing a face covering in public is a way to protect our communities, support our businesses, and move forward instead of backwards.
This presentation was followed by the reading of some public comments and finally a vote on whether to support the California Department of Public Health's guidance regarding face coverings.
Okay, motion to pass resolution 2020 next in order. A resolution of the City Council of Nevada City affirming the California Department of Public Health's updated guidance mandating the wearing of face coverings in high-risk situations and encouraging the public to follow the updated guidance.
Councilmember Parker,
Yes.
Councilmember Moberg,
Yes.
Councilmember Strasser,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Minette,
Yes.
Mayor Senum.
Yes.
They voted unanimously to do so. To view the full meeting, visit nevadacountymedia.org and click on the Watch Now link. On Tuesday evening, the Nevada County Fair Board voted to cancel the 2020 Draft Horse Classic. Jeanette Royal, board president of California's 17th District Agricultural Association, said, "Unfortunately, similar to the decision we had to make for the fair, we really didn't have a choice in light of the restrictions on mass gatherings at this time. Still, it doesn't make the decision any easier, as each event canceled has an impact on its participants, the community, and the fairgrounds, and it's disheartening to have to cancel another of our premier events. However, we have to follow the guidelines set by the governor and state public health directives to postpone mass gatherings until we can safely host them again." This is the third time that the Draft Horse Classic has been canceled since its introduction in 1987. It was canceled in 1988 due to the 49er fire and in '89 due to weather. For information about the Draft Horse Classic and the Nevada County Fairgrounds, visit nevadacountyfair.com. California OES Director Mark Gallarducci, California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, and United Policyholders Executive Director Amy Bach will be holding a statewide teletown hall addressing fire preparedness and available resources for homeowners. This town hall will take place Thursday, July 9th from 5 to 6 p.m. They ask that you email your questions in advance and no later than 3 p.m. on Monday, July 6th to crb@insurance.ca.gov. The call-in number is 844-767-5679, and the access code is 473821. For more information, visit insurance.ca.gov. Last week, local high school sports teams were given the go-ahead to start team activities. Unfortunately, that seems to have been short-lived. Let's turn it over to Sonora Slater for more.
Thanks, Cole. Recently, teenagers in our community were given a glimmer of hope when they received the okay to begin distanced summer conditioning and training practices. Local school officials have been fighting hard to allow students to resume some form of recreational team sports, and this step was an exciting victory. However, according to Nevada Joint Union High School District Superintendent of Schools Brett McFadden, the California Department of Public Health, or CDPH, announced yesterday that its previous communication allowing athletic training had been a mistake. The practices for sports such as water polo, football, and so on that had begun have now been suspended until further notice, and the Nevada County Public Health website reflects this change, having updated their FAQ page from the previous June 24th version to state that any youth sports practices with non-household members is not yet allowed, and that the state has, as of yet, not given a date for when they may resume. According to CBS Sacramento, an earlier communication between Placer County and the state indicated that certain counties could, in fact, begin these practices. The CDPH responded on June 12th to questions surrounding the topic that were sent in by Placer County, saying that distanced drills and conditioning activities were allowed, so long as they complied with already released gym and fitness center guidelines. Weeks later, they clarified that when they issued that statement, they had not meant youth activities and are not permitting group youth activities at this time. It was not clarified who would be held liable if a violation were to occur. The California Interscholastic Federation, which is the state authority on high school sports, has said that July 20th is its cutoff date to determine if the fall sports season will be altered. Until then, Mr. McFadden says that the district will continue to advocate for student athletes to train and condition, while still following strict safety protocols. Back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Sonora. We'll leave you this evening with a preview of our virtual parade. Tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Comcast Channel 11. Remember, stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you next week.
How many hot dogs do you think Americans consume on the 4th of July? Take a guess.
7.
7, no, it's 8. You're so close, but you missed it by 1. Really close there. No, you weren't anywhere in the ballpark. 150 million hot dogs are consumed by Americans on the 4th of July, which sounds impressive.
Yes, I'm impressed.
It's not impressive. When you realize that the guy who wins the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, he accounts for 80 million of them on his own. So we really don't eat that many hot dogs. It just sounds like a lot. Even though it's 4th of July parade, and even though this is America and Nevada City, I'm going to get a little political. I just want to talk about global warming for a second.
Okay.
Did you know that North Dakota makes 36% of the baked beans we eat on July 4th every year? Way to go, North Dakota! Congratulations. Did you know that? Who's going to follow the horses? Nobody. Well, one person.
Well,
One person won't.
the janitor.
Yeah.
Do they have a janitor in the parade?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to
Okay.
look. July 2nd. Again with July 2nd. That's like the Canadian, and the Canadians would still beat us by a day if it were July 2nd. Can't stand it.
I don't
Listen,
know.